So we have understood how to use the first conditional statement or the first type of control statement, which is if. Okay, what if if the condition is wrong and your if statement doesn't do anything, right? Because as in the PPT I gave you one more example which I'll be sharing in the attachment, so you need not worry about it. Because when you see here, let's take an example of person age and we are taking input. And what if the age is not greater than equal to 18? If the age is if the age is 15, what happens over there? Gone, right? Your if statement doesn't print anything, right? So there comes one more logic where if the condition is wrong, you can go for one more thing called as else. Because if the given condition is wrong, there comes one more block called as else. If it is not done with if, then you can go for one more check case, right? Simple, just make it related to English language or your lives. If you are able to learn, you learn it. If you don't want, you don't do it, right? We have only two options in our life, either take in or take out, right? So if it is yes, it will be done with if. If you want the other case which is not being done, there comes else block. So for else block, you need not write any condition, because for if the condition is satisfied, then it will execute the number of blocks within that. If you don't have this condition satisfied, then automatically it will come to else block. So if it is true, then you need not again write else false, because it is think common sense, right? So you need not give any condition or test expression for else block. Okay, you need not worry. Let's go to our practical mode and we'll see some couple of examples to make it easily understand. Okay, so just continue with the same point where we have left, right? So let's take a simple example. Now, why can't we take input from user, right? Because we have also seen that part, right? We have also understood how to take input from user. So let's take input from user and try understanding to check whether the given input is correct or not, or whether the given condition. Let's take some simple example. So I'll take two inputs from user. So A is equal to, first let's take this example and I'll tell you, if A is equal to int of input of enter a value. So in any ways you can write, you can customize your print, it's up to you. And if I give A is 10, okay, now I'll go for B. B is equal to int of input of, because I am trying to take only integer, enter another value, then close this. So another value is, if you take 15, suppose if you give if A is less than B, if A is less than B, what happens over there? You can write any print over here. See, print of, it expects anything. You can give any customize. Let me give it as true. There you go. If you want, you can write another statement, or if you wanted to just come out of it, just press enter. You get the result as true. Why? Because the condition is matching. You are taking input from user, A is 10 and B is 15. 10 is less than 15. The gate is open and you can see this result automatically. But what if the value of A is greater than 10? I mean, it's greater than 15 basically, because if you have taken A is 25, 25 is less than 15? No, right? Then you don't see any result. There comes the usage of else, where you can make it of another condition. Another condition where for every if you wanted to close the condition properly, there must be else. It's not mandatory, but if you write it properly, then your piece of statements will be easier and it will be easier to interpret, to go with the logic. That means your syntax goes like this: else. So press enter, automatically you'll have four spaces, but I'm writing in comments, right? So you don't get anything. So for every else, automatically 4 spaces. And you see, I am not writing any test expression or condition, because if you go for if, you have test expression, but for else, you need not give, because the vice versa of the other case of if is else. So why do you worry about it? Okay. So you write your statements. So I am writing here some dummy statements here, statements of anything. So you can write any number of statements. It's up to user interest. So this is the basic syntax for else. So just remember, if your condition is not being satisfied with if, so never ever hesitate. You should properly align else block to close it, because you are seeing in a simple case, but when you go for some critical statements, it should be mandated to use else block, because then only your condition is proper, right? That is where this is decision control instruction. Okay, now let's take the same example, because already we have a is 10, b is 15. Now I change the condition if a is greater than 10. Now what do I do is, I give print of, check the condition. So I can write in any way, right? So I'll give check the condition, and I'll come back, and if I write here, I'm only in the if block, right? So I'll come out of it and I'll write else here. Okay, because I'll show you in different way. If you write else here, what happens? And you see print again into the same way. So print of this condition is correct. I am writing in this way. This condition is correct. Now when you press enter, you don't see any result. Why? Because you are in interactive mode. If you wanted to see the result, just because your else block is expecting one more statement to be covered. If there is no statement, press enter. See what result did you get? This condition is correct because a is greater than b. 10 is greater than 15? No, right? That is the reason whatever statement you have in else block, that got printed. Otherwise, you would have got first condition if a is less than b. Then you see some why else is not in the same alignment of if. What happens if we align in the same way? I'll show you the difference. Let me copy the same thing, and if I go here, suppose if I keep it like this, you see what is the result you are going to get. Why we are getting syntax error? I told you, right? So you need to match the indentation, because automatically these three spaces are giving you to print. So automatically it aligns your if and else should be in same indentation. That is the reason I followed the cursor. You see, when I just press this, it will expect that you go in this way. But if you write in this way, what happens? You are in the if block only. You are not writing any nested conditions, which we'll learn again. See, again invalid syntax. You make mistakes and you learn from mistakes only. That is the only way to learn programming. So never ever hesitate to do that. Don't worry, because whenever you are using else or elif or any other statements after if block, make sure you follow indentation, and always you should have in the same loop, in the same line after if, wherever you are having if, follow the same way for else also. That is the reason these three spaces, because these three spaces are being removed by if, so this if and this else are automatically in same line. That is the reason, see, whenever you give enter, they are aligning in the same block, because this has taken 4 spaces. Suppose if I give if a less than b, there you go, you get one more result which is different from the above result. What? Check the condition. That is the reason, depending on the input, you get the result. Okay, it becomes some difficult for me. There is any other option you think? Yes, because there you go. Now you can make your steps into scripting mode, because generally in scripting mode you don't have these arrows. You can save it as, you can check it as an editor. So anyways, if you are using interactive mode, make sure whenever you are using loops or anything in the future, just make it related. You should not write in the same line, because you are having spaces to be removed over there. So automatically just continue it from the 3 arrows where you are writing. Okay, so to make it very simple, as I told you, I'll be making you to understand scripting mode also, where you need to go to the top option where you have file. So click on file, because already we have discussed about these options. You can explore them. When you click on file, you have another option called as new file, where you can press Ctrl+N or click on this. Automatically you will be getting a new window where you see it's something like plain editor, where, as I told you, you need to click run and run module to execute the file. Okay, so let's take an example where to check whether the given number is even or odd. This is very simple case you think, but how do you try to execute it? That's what I'm trying to explain now, because if you have any condition, just make use of blindly. If your problem statement is involving condition, first write if, then you start exploring it, because whenever you have errors, just follow the error. That is the best way to learn. So let me take input from user only. If I'm taking a is equal to int of input of enter the value, because I want to take it from user itself. Enter the value. Okay, right. So that's you have taken input from user, because generally if you write the same statement in interactive mode, automatically when you enter this, that particular line is compiled and you get the input. It is your interpreter is asking you to enter input, but here you run the entire script and your script will be executed step by step. If you have mistake in the first line itself, you don't get the result. That means if I close it here and I save it like this, I'll try to save it as control. Okay, you see the name saved as control and it is in desktop location. If I want to execute it, I need to click on run module. You need not compile and execute because we are using a scripting mode. So you can press F5. What is happening over there? Right? You got a syntax error. Why? You missed one parenthesis. That is the reason. Make it very simple. Even you are using scripting mode, if every line is correct, then only it will go to interpreted mode, where it will ask you for the input. Suppose in this case, if I click on run and run module, you see the kernel will be restarted and automatically it is asking user to enter input. See, this is your file name. It is asking you to enter the input. Suppose if I give enter the value, now a value is 10 automatically, because if you give b again, it's name error, right? Why? It can't take input from above cases, because your shell has been restarted. It will take only input from the scripting mode. So that is how you take input. Okay. Now what is the logic for the even number and odd number? You already know those things, because in your childhood you say numbers, you start zeros with natural numbers, you start with 0 and you take even numbers, that is a multiple of 2, or you can say it should be divisible by 2. Okay. You write your condition if a is divisible by 2, you think, right? Okay, what is the symbol you start using if a is divisible by 2? If it is divisible by 2, there should be some more logic, right? Expressing. If you write like this, just first let express in different ways. Print the given, because I wanted to explore all the different types of arithmetic operators and comparison where we should use after if block. The given number is even. Suppose if you are taking a, the given number is even. Okay, it is expecting one more print. So if you want to give print, okay, just commit over there, and if you give else, and if you give print, the given number is odd. You can write in multiple ways. So customization of print is only from user interest. So it's up to user interest. You can make it in any way. The given number is odd. Okay, because I wanted to make sure every condition should be satisfied. Why should I use slash, and why shouldn't I use double slash and percentile? Everything will be discussing. Suppose, okay, according to logic, if the number is even, it should be divisible by 2. Okay, division operator, what do you see? Slash. Okay, now let's execute this. It is asking for input, and if I enter 10, the given number is even. Okay, very good. So you think 10 as even number, it's fine. But never ever come to a logic or come to a conclusion by only one input. Okay, now let me go for taking one more input. Let me give an odd number. I mean, you know odd numbers, right? Something like 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, let's give one more number, which is 7. What happened? You see, it is again giving the number as even. How it is possible? Because it is simply executing the if logic only. 7 divisible by 2. What is 7 divisible by 2? You see, you can check it here. 7 divisible by 2. What is the result you are getting? 3.5. Because we are just matching that condition. That's it. We are asking it to evaluate this condition and print the result. We are not comparing with anything. So that is the reason you are getting error. That means use comparison operator equal to, and now you save it and execute one more time, and let's give 7. The given number is odd. Okay, first condition is matching. Very good, because you got 3.5. We are getting a float number. You are coming to result. Okay, now what we should do? Let's check the positive case. Let's try to give something like 10. What happened? You are getting, even though you gave equal to, 10 is an even number, you are getting the result as the given number is odd, right? So that means we are writing some mistake in our logic, because whether we use single slash or double slash or percentile, there is a clear difference, because single slash is floating division, the result is always float. So try to use double slash, because double slash always gives you quotient, right? That means what is our even and odd number logic? It should be divisible by 2 and the remainder is 0. You are getting some hint, right? Yes. If you want to get the remainder, you shouldn't use double slash. But I'll tell you what is the reason if you use it. If you give 10 again, the given number is odd. See, you are making a mistake in using this arithmetic operator. So, we need to use not double slash or double slash. We need to use modulus. What do you mean by modulus? That's where you use percentile, because percentile will always give you remainder as the result. So 10 percentile 2. What is 10 percentile 2? 2 5s are 10. So 0 equal to 0. So that's where you start evaluating the condition. Whatever input you take, suppose if you take 10, there you go, the given number is even. So don't come to a conclusion with the first result itself. Go to one more input and execute one more time. Take something like heavy number 2579. It is odd number, right? You frame up your own logic and automatically you will understand how does the result is being executed. If you go for 7, you see 7 is an odd number. So for all possible cases, you are seeing if the condition is matching here, you are getting this statement. If it is not matching, you are getting this result. See, if and else are in same loop. What happens if you write in this way? Obviously, you see the result will be different automatically. When I execute this, see, invalid syntax. So clearly make sure if and else should always be in same line. And whenever you enter after colon, when you press enter, automatically these 4 spaces are aligned, because indentation takes 4 spaces. So else, if the condition is not matching in if, then automatically this block will be executed. And after this print, when you come out of this if condition, so whatever you write here, it's up to you. Good result. Okay, you can take anything here, whether even if you want to customize it, take input A is even, or you can customize it, right? So it's up to user interest. A is even, and because you are using different parts of different formats of print, right? You can just make it, it's odd. So it's up to user interest. Now when you execute it, see what happened? What is the mistake you are seeing here? Invalid syntax. Why invalid syntax? Let me cross check, because you are giving print here and you are having some, make sure that you are having any spaces or it is not being properly aligned. Let me save and let me execute. Again invalid syntax. Let's cross check. What is the result? What is the thing which is being wrong over there? So print good result. This is a complete print statement and I want to come out of it. And let me come here, let me cross check, and when you go back, you see everything is aligned. Okay, let's check once again, and again invalid syntax. Oh God, what is the mistake we are doing here? Because always debug, always make sure that you do debugging, because if you are trying to end the statement here, automatically your print will make sure that if you are writing any conditions with if and else, don't come out of the if directly, because else is present over there. That is the reason. You see, now you see if you give 10, you get 2 results. That is where make it very specific when you are using if and else. If you want to come out of the if block, make sure what you are writing, whether you are writing else, so don't come out of over there. This is very, very important when you are using if and else. So you can take any other example and start working on it. Always make sure you give proper spaces, because if you wanted to make sure if you are aligning here, then obviously you are having else, so don't come out of the if block. If you are coming out of the if block, there should be proper ending, whether you use else or if you don't use else. We have some more cases like elif, which we are going to learn.